Hey guys, YouTuber 100 here. Alright, and now here I am to continue reviewing the Marvel Cinematic Universe with my review of Thor. So yeah, this movie was really good. I'd probably say out of the four movies that I've reviewed so far, I've enjoyed this one the most. I just really did enjoy watching this. Yeah, was just a really enjoyable movie. I mean, just, had a great a story for the movie, had a great plot, had great characters, had great storytelling. Yeah, just this movie was really good. Yeah, yeah. This movie pretty much has a story of basically Superman, except here with Thor, he actually does know who he is. It's not like with in Superman where Clark Kent really doesn't know who he is until he's grown up. Yeah, yeah. Here, even after Thor is sent to the Earth, he still does remember who he is, and yeah, now he still does have all of his memory of his god, him being a god. Yeah, so yeah, it is kind of a similar story to Superman, but it's also different. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, and yeah, movie has people like Chris Hemsworth, Natalie Portman, and then Idris Elba, Rene Russo, Anthony Hopkins. So yeah, movie has a pretty decent cast to it, yeah, and they all do really good, and it has a lot of really good characters in it. I really do think that this one is probably, I don't know if I should say best of the four I've reviewed so far, but probably the most enjoyable one. And I just really did enjoy this. I give this movie 3.5 stars out of 4. Yeah, really enjoyable film right here. Yeah. Yeah. Movie was under the direction of Kenneth Branagh, and I've known Kenneth Branagh as being more as an actor. I've seen him in a lot of movies, yeah, and yeah, I really didn't know that he really could direct like this, and yeah, he did a really good job of doing it. But, uh, so yeah, like I said, this is just a really enjoyable film. I can't say that enough. So yeah, let me just get right into it. So the movie opens up with Dr. Jane Foster, her assistant Darcy Lewis, and her mentor Dr. Eric Slevig. They see something in the sky, and they try to race out, and then they see like some kind of wormhole into the ground, and then they hit an individual. Well, that just kind of comes out of nowhere. Here, yes, yeah. And then it goes to shows like the world of Esgard in the year 965, and Odin, who was the king of Esgard, or he declares war against the frost giants of Jotunheim, with their leader Laufey. And yeah, they're trying to prevent them from conquering the nine realms, and they plan to start with the Earth. And the Asgardian warriors end up defeating them and seize the casket of ancient winners, which is their source of power. Then it cuts to the present day, where Thor, who's Odin's son, is about to be like presented to the throne of Asgard, but it gets interrupted after the frost giants try to retrieve the casket again. And then Thor decides to, along with his brother Loki and their friend Sif and the Warriors 3, Volstagg, Fandral, and Hogan. They decide to travel down to Jotunheim to confront Laufey, which is against Odin's orders. And then once they arrive at Jotunheim, then a battle then ensues between the Asgardians and the Frost Giants. And yeah, it just went back and forth between all of them, and Odin then arrives, and then he saves the Asgardians from the Frost Giants. And yeah, obviously Odin wasn't happy with what Thor did, and he decided, because of Thor's arrogance and stupidity, that he no longer should be a god. So yeah, Odin then stripped Thor of all of his godly powers, including his hammer Mjolnir. Is that how you say it? Mjolnir. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, yeah, feel free to, if you can, let me know how it's really pronounced in the comments. Yeah, I think it's Mjolnir. Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Yeah. And anyway, he then exiles Thor down to Earth as a mortal. And yeah, now Mjolnir is now protected with an enhancement that makes only the person that is worthy to actually be able to have it and use it. And then it leads back to where it left off at the opening of the movie, where Thor landed in New Mexico, where Jane Foster, Darcy Lewis, and Dr. Eric Selvig find him, and like I said before, even though Thor was no longer had his god powers and is now immortal, he still did have all of his god memory intact. Thor didn't realize that he was immortal, and he thought he was still a god. So yeah, he was still acting like a god, and Jane, Darcy, and Dr. Selvig just then decided to take him to the hospital. Well, after Darcy tased him after she was freaked out by Thor. And yeah, in the hospital, like, Thor thought that the doctors and staff were trying to attack him, and yeah, Thor tried fighting off the doctors, but then the doctors ended up knocking him out after injecting him. Thor eventually ended up escaping from the hospital, and then of course, Jane, Darcy, and Dr. Selvig decided to take him in. And while all that's going on Asgard, Loki finds out that he was actually adopted by Odin, and he is biologically Laufey's son. He was adopted by Odin after the war had ended. And then Loki, aware of this, was obviously really unhappy about it, and then Odin ended up going into an Odin sleep, as he likes to call it, to have his strength return to him. And while he's in the sleep, Loki then ended up taking the throne home of Asgard. And eventually Thor finds out the location of Mjolnir, and it turns out that the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents commandeered it, along with all of Jane's data and research that she has about the wormhole that brought Thor to Earth. Yeah, and it also showed the clip that was played at the end of Iron Man 2 when Phil Coulson reported that they found the hammer. Yeah, and after Thor found out where Mjolnir was, as he then and and took off to retrieve it. Yeah. And at first, Jane was gonna take Thor to where it was, but then Darcy and Dr. Selvig told her that she shouldn't. And she then told Thor that she couldn't take him. And then Thor decided to go on his own, but eventually then Jane then did give Thor a lift to the location. Yeah. And then eventually they arrived at the location of Mjolnir. And it shows that there was a facility that Shield constructed around Mjolnir. And Thor tried to go after the hammer as he fought off a lot of the Shield agents in the process. And when he finally approached the hammer, he tried retrieving it, but since he was mortal and wasn't worthy, he wasn't. He couldn't lift it. Obviously, he couldn't even pick it up. Yeah, and I should also mention, there were a lot of people camping around the site of where Mjolnir was, and they all tried to pull it out, but they couldn't do it. And there was even at one point there was a truck that tried to pull it out by a chain, and it just ended up pulling the entire bed of the truck off, and the driver of that truck was Stan Lee. So another appearance by Stan Lee in the Marvel movies. But anyway, and after Thor was unable to retrieve Mjolnir, he then just gave up, and all the Shield agents captured him. And as Thor was locked up as the Shield agents were talking to him, it then showed Loki also talking to Thor, and Thor was telling, Loki was telling Thor that their father is now dead, and Thor asked if he could return home, but Loki told Thor that their mother is still doesn't approve of Thor coming back home. But then eventually, Selvig helped free Thor from the place, and then and he then took Thor to a bar where they had one of some drinks, and then and Dr. Selvig ended up getting drunk, and Thor ended up bringing him back to where Jane and him and Darcy were staying for a little while. And of course throughout the movie, there's the romance that develops between Thor and Jane, and it's fine. I mean, for this romance with Natalie Portman, it's definitely a lot better than her Star Wars romance with Anakin. I mean, definitely better than that, right? Yeah. And then eventually, Loki then and went to Laufey, and he offered Laufey the chance to kill Odin and retrieve the casket back. And Sif and the Warriors weren't happy with Loki acting the way he was, and they wanted to bring Thor back from his exile. And so, with the help of Hamadal, who was the gatekeeper of the Bifrost, which was the bridge of transport from Asgard to Earth, he helped them to transport down to Earth to look for Thor. And Loki was also aware of that, and he sent down a destroyer who was practically indestructible to go after them and Thor. And then the Warriors eventually found Thor, and they wanted Thor to come back, but Thor told them that he couldn't, since his father was dead. That he thought, since Loki told him that. But then the warriors all told Thor that his father was still alive, and that basically Loki lied to him. You know, but then the destroyer then and found Thor and the warriors, and yeah, the warriors all tried to fight off the destroyer, but of course the destroyer was so much more powerful than them and just ended up defeating them. And then it just led to Thor or to sacrifice himself to the destroyer. And yeah, then the destroyer then struck Thor and it nearly killed him. But then the sacrifice then showed that Thor was worthy enough to wield the Mjolnir. And then the hammer then and just rose from the place it was stuck in, and then it just flew right back to Thor, and Thor retrieved it, and then it restored Thor's god powers, and yeah, Thor was then able to defeat the destroyer. Yeah. Then Thor and the warriors then returned back to Asgard to confront Loki. But yeah, before Thor left, he vowed to Jane he would return and kissed her goodbye. Yeah. And then, yeah, they all returned back to Asgard. And yeah, Loki then ended up betraying Laufey and killing him. And he told Mother that his true plan was to have the excuse of Laufey's his attempt to kill Odin to destroy Jotunheim along with the Bifrost Bridge to prove himself worthy to his adoptive father. Yeah. But then Thor then arrived, and yeah, him and Loki went at it. And yeah, they were fighting on the Bifrost Bridge, and yeah, and then Thor eventually ended up destroying the bridge, and yeah, of course that would end up just having him and being stranded in Asgard, and yeah, he wouldn't be able to come back to Earth and to Jane. And yeah, after the bridge was destroyed, then and like Thor and Loki were about to fall into an abyss that was made from the bridge's destruction. Yeah, but Odin then awoke, and yeah, he stopped Thor and Loki from falling. Yeah, but after Odin rejected Loki's approval pleas, then yeah, Loki just let go and allowed himself to fall down. Yeah. And yeah, then later on, Thor just admitted to Odin that he isn't quite ready to be king of Asgard yet. And yeah, the movie closed up with Jane and her team just trying to find a way to open up a portal to Asgard. Then the movie just cut to credit. It's after that, but then yeah, and after the credits, of course, Dr. Selvig was at a SHIELD facility, and yeah, he met Nick Fury. Yeah, he's back again. Yeah. And yeah, Nick Fury showed him like a cube-shaped object that he asked him to study. And yeah, Fury told Selvig that the object may hold untold power. Yeah. And yeah, Selvig agreed to it after like Loki was invisible, and yeah, he prompted him to do it. Yeah, so yeah, Selvig agreed to do it, and yeah, of course, this would just lead to the next movies in the of Marvel Cinematic Universe. So yeah, that's how the movie ended. So yeah, like I said, 3.5 stars out of 4. Really did enjoy this movie. Yeah, as I said, this is probably the most enjoyable movie of the 4 that I've reviewed so far. So yeah, really did like this movie. Alright, so yeah, that does it for my review of Thor. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.